and thank you for tuning into the Bloom Effect on Nia Talk Network. Tonight, we have a guest, and we are going to be talking about a topic that I feel like that is hella important. Um, Being a pick me, and it's not really just about that, but it is the title that a great woman gets when she's being a great woman. And so, again, welcome back to the Bloom Effect. Um, Tonight, we're talking about something I think a lot of women have experienced without even realizing it, like realizing what's happening. We hear pick me all the time nowadays, and usually it's like an insult, but I don't really want to talk about the internet version of a pick me woman. I want to talk about the woman who has been taught that being a good woman means sacrifice. But understand, like, be understanding, be patient, hold your man down, take care of your children, keep your family together, forgive, support everybody. Don't give up too quickly. Don't be selfish. And individually, none of those things are necessarily bad. But what happens when you're so busy being good to everybody else that you slowly stop being good to yourself? What happens when everybody knows you are somebody's woman, somebody's mother, somebody's support system, but you don't even know who you are anymore? And that's the question we're having tonight. I have Akila here with me, and we're going to talk about love, sacrifice, motherhood, losing yourself, and what it actually takes to find that woman again. So, Akila, before we get into anything else, when you hear being a good woman costs me myself, does any of that feel like your story?
100%. That was completely what happened to me. As a young woman, I didn't understand what I was doing. We weren't always taught. I think in the Black community at least, that through our mother-daughter relationship, I don't think we were really taught about what a healthy relationship looks like, what should we be looking for
Hold
as
on,
women.
let me stop you really quick. Your
Mhm.
microphone is kind of going in and out. Maybe come are you super close to it or what?
I'm really close now. Is that better?
It is, but for some reason it just keeps going in and out. I wonder if you would have downloaded the app and spoke directly through your phone. Would that be better?
I feel like it might have been better. I thought it would have been better on the computer. But yeah, it's anyway, I can try to do
Yeah. Go ahead and do that, and I'll keep the show going, and we'll wait for you to come back.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we'll be waiting for you. Okay, so we're going to allow Akila to go out, and she's going to come back in. But a couple of things that she's this conversation, I'm so happy to have her here because this is so freaking important to all the women that are listening to us on the Bloom Effect, because we we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves caring too much. And I really feel like that you have to have balance in order for you to thrive. And sometimes, it's looked at like we're being selfish, but self-preservation is so freaking important. And when you care too much, you just end up being the fool. I don't think anybody in this world was ever meant to be loved to the extent in which we choose to love people, if that makes sense. Like, nobody needs as much love as we give them, if that makes sense. Hold on, she's coming back. Let me let her in. Hey. Hello.
Hello?
So much, bro. So much
Good,
better.
good.
Good. I'm
So
glad.
much better.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound amazing. So again, okay, let me add a little something something. She's back in full effect, baby. Okay. So
Period.
I'm so happy that you did that because you started off extremely killing it. So I need you to rewind again. So I'll go back and ask the question again so that we can kind of get back into it. So before we get into everything else, when you hear being a good woman cost me myself, does any of that feel like your story? And now I hear myself repeating in the background. I don't know what that's about.
I'm sorry. It tried to connect to my headphones, but I'm here. And yes, I that is my story. Unfortunately, it is my story because I don't think I learned about what we need to be looking for in a healthy relationship. So
Mm.
there were all these red flags that I don't know, they just look like flowers, they look like roses to me.
Mm. But you were
So
saying
that was
something, but you were saying something initially about the way you were raised.
mhm,
What
exactly.
what does that mean? Can you explain that to me? Because I feel like that when you start off the story and tell it from the beginning, it
Mhm.
means a little bit more to the listener, like they can follow the story. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't want to give too much on my mom. She's a great woman. She was a single mother. She raised us. She made all the sacrifices. She went on to get her PhD and get her education and all of that as I was a young girl, watching her do that, helping us live the most, a beautiful life. She gave us a beautiful life. I was able to be trained in music and all of these things because she sacrificed and got her education and spared no expense for our education. So all of that is amazing, right? I'm describing a good, amazing woman. And I watched that and I grew up seeing that as an example of how to be a great woman, right? But one thing I didn't see was her in relationships. She intentionally did not want us to see her in relationships, which I think is a good thing. You don't want someone seeing people in and out, in and out,
Mhm.
I didn't have that experience, but I also didn't experience seeing her be loved,
Mhm.
be in love anyone,
Mhm.
and her way of showing love to us was buying us things, providing things for us.
Mhm.
So that's an interesting way to look at love is I got a new Coach bag or,
Mhm.
interesting, right? So I grow up, I go to college, I'm looking for love. You know, I just started to think love was lustful connections,
Mhm.
you know, think love between friends, like even friendship wise, I ignored the fact that there were some people who weren't really my friends, right? I was a good time to be around, but
Mhm.
maybe I wasn't really their friend, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, going back to how I was raised and how that affected me when I ended up in my first adult serious relationship, everything that these conversations that we see now that are so common and it's so easy to call women stupid because we are having these conversations openly, we weren't having those 10 years ago. So young ladies like myself, you just learn through going through things, and it's very um harsh, I think, to be called a pick me when you were who doesn't want to be chosen, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. So so did you see when you were growing up? Because I mean, it doesn't necessarily sound like to me that it just seems like that you were genuinely loving. And and I don't think that that's a bad thing. So that's
Mhm.
the other thing too that like I want to highlight in what you said is that like you didn't see your mom in an actual relationship, but it doesn't mean that you didn't get loved genuinely.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that in your household that there wasn't genuine love, you
Mhm.
know? And love looks different, you know, it can look different in all type of ways, but you know, I can't just say that you were just being genuine. And sometimes when you're genuine, you kind of just get burnt because the
Mhm.
world is built on just sacrifice and get over and use and mistreat and and you know it's so hurtful and it's so painful because I can truly feel where you're coming from. So you
Mhm.
know it's hard for me to try to even decipher to say that that was really truly a problem.
Right,
uh
like what I would, expand
Expand
on
on
is
is
like,
like,
yes, I
yes, I
was
was
and
and
am
am
still a
still a
genuine
genuine
person,
person,
but I
but I
do
do
think,
think,
just like you're
just like you're
saying, the
saying, the
world
world
is
is
harsh,
harsh,
it's
mhm.
it's
evil,
evil,
and
and
I
I
think,
think,
no
no
disrespect, but I
disrespect, but
think
I
we're
think
doing
we're
a
doing a
disservice if
disservice
we
if we
don't
don't
teach our
teach our
kids
kids
how harsh
how
the
harsh
world
the world
really
really
is.
is.
I
I
think
Mm,
think if
how do
you
you teach someone how harsh the world truly is? Because sometimes experience is what so on the on the Bloom effect, I share my experiences, but I still always let people know that do not allow me sharing my experience stop you from going out there experiencing,
mhm,
because experience is what makes the world a beautiful thing.
mhm,
It gives you a story, it gives you a reason to be better. You know, just like when you go to the gym, you know, you work out, yeah, you're
mhm,
struggling, but it's what makes you better. So, experience is so I understand teaching your kids about,
mhm.
you know, the negative sides of the world, but it's like I don't
I
even
just
know if that's even an
So,
answer.
and
so
you're
and you're
right,
right. You're right.
and
And
because of
because of
my
my
good
good
natured
natured
way,
way,
I had
I
some
had
type
some
of
type of
wisdom in
wisdom
me
in
that
me
told
that
me
told me
you're gonna
you're
have to
gonna
go
have to
out
go
there and
out there and
experience the
experience the
world,
world,
you know.
you know.
And
Mhm.
I
And I
personally, like
personally,
after
like
I
after I
graduated with
graduated
my
with my
bachelor's
bachelor's
degree,
degree,
I had
I
some
had
friends
some
who went
friends who went
straight
straight
into
into
getting a
getting a
master's.
master's.
And
And I
I
personally,
said,
I
I
said,
have to
I
go
have to go
live.
live.
I'm
You
a
know,
singer, I'm a
I'm a
songwriter, I'm an
songwriter, I'm an
artist, and I
artist, and
need
I need
to,
to
I have
I
all the
have all the
techniques
techniques
down and all
down
the
and all the
training down,
training
but I
down, but
need
I
to
need
get
to
some
get
life
some
in
life
me.
in me.
So
So
maybe I
maybe I
purposely put
purposely put
myself through
myself through
certain things.
certain things.
But,
But
to kind of
to
say
kind of
like
say like
what I was
what I
kind
was
of really
kind of
saying
really
with the
saying with the
experience
experience
is,
and
I think
I
it's
think
about
it's about
teaching
teaching
about
about
boundaries and
boundaries
how
and
to
how to
healthily
healthily
do,
do,
have those
have those
boundaries.
boundaries.
What
What
is
is
really
really
disrespectful to
disrespectful to
you
you that seems
um
um
that seems
that
like
seems
someone
like someone
being
being
nice,
nice
or
or
you're being
you're
too
being too
nice and
nice
you're
and you're
not
not
calling out
calling out
something.
something.
Like you
Like
have
you
to
have to
learn,
learn,
discernment.
discernment.
And
And
yes, you
yes,
learn
you
that
learn
through
that through
experiencing
experiencing
things,
things,
but I
but
do
I do
think
think
there is
there
some
is some
level
level
of,
of,
hey,
hey,
here is
here
how
is how
you
you
express your
express
self
your
esteem.
self-esteem.
Here is
Here is
how you
how you
express your
express
self
your
worth.
self-worth.
You know,
You know,
here's one
here's one
way. You
way. You
don't, if
don't, if
someone is
someone is
doing
doing
something that
something that
makes you feel
makes you feel
uncomfortable,
uncomfortable,
please
please
listen to
listen
that
to that
voice.
voice.
And
So
And
so
yeah.
yeah,
how do okay, because I'm asking questions because I truly want to know and I know that the audience wants to know too.
hmm
So because everything that you're saying it can be factual, but how do you teach or show your child about boundaries?
that
that
is
is
a
a
beautiful
Do
beautiful
question.
do you
question.
show and because you said your mom gave you everything.
hmm
So to
Mhm.
me there may not have been any tough love. It may have been just like, you know, it's all uh flowers and rainbows, and you don't have any true it's just all love and light. But
Mhm,
how do you really teach your child? To me, I think about, okay, I can't give my child everything,
mhm.
because I need to teach them that life isn't about having and getting everything. Everything is not peaches and cream.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's bad and sometimes it's good, but it's like that tough love thing there. And I don't know if I'm losing,
No,
the
you're right on track, and you said it too. I think, I'm no expert. I just have lived like everyone else, and I think it's by having your own boundaries, like
Mhm.
by,
But
and
you
I'm
have
not
to
saying.
teach them to
Mhm.
have boundaries. So how do you feel like that you are raising your children differently
Mhm.
than how your mother raised you?
I think the one thing that I'm going to take is that is really important to like explain sometimes why. Not always. Sometimes it's because I said so. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it is because I said so. But sometimes like knowing why, or understanding consequences of things, if you hide the problems or don't allow people to struggle when they're young, it's a lot harder to struggle when you're an adult because you've never learned to overcome in certain ways. And this is like general speaking. I'm not even 100% speaking about my own experience. Like, yes, it is my own experience, but like I just think what I've learned, because these conversations are so much more open now. It wasn't like this like 10, 15 years ago. Like, we are all talking about this, and I think, like, when I say having my own boundaries, it's like just being upfront with, hey, listen, mommy gets tired, mommy's not able to do everything. And sometimes mommy doesn't have it. And so the reason is no, and you have to accept no. That's just an example.
No, no,
But
no,
it's
I
like,
love that.
yeah, you
I
have to
love
learn
that.
to accept
And
that.
sometimes even when you do have it, you
Mhm.
have to say no.
Mhm.
And that is what's like, even with my child, I just feel like that, like, just because we can, we're not, because I don't want you to think that we can always, or we're going to always. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, so
And
I
then
definitely
that's how it trickles into unknowingly, accidentally, into relationships, because
mhm.
someone is asking you to do something that is outside of maybe a boundary,
Mhm.
but maybe an enabling mindset of just like, okay, let's just do it.
So it sounds like intentionally being intentional about teaching your child healthy boundaries,
Amen.
or
I think that
teaching,
is.
and even in that you're teaching yourself, because they become a reflection of you, and it's just, so I get what you're saying. You have to be intentional about everything that you do, you
Yeah,
know.
because anything that you don't do intentionally happens. It's something still happening. You're just not
Right.
intentional. Like, I seen this quote because I also am a music teacher. I'm
Okay.
going into my second year as a chorus teacher, and I teach
Okay.
middle school. And boundaries are everything in middle school. Thank
Okay, I
you.
love it. I love it.
Thank you so
Congratulations.
much. Thank
That's
you. It is
awesome.
an honor. I
Okay.
love
So
working
you
with
so
you.
you said that you are around kids all the time. So this is a big deal.
Hmm. I've had to really get my boundaries up.
Wow. That's okay. Okay, so let's get in. What about your father? Where's he? How's he? How's that dynamic?
Oh, you're going into it.
Because this is important as a woman
Hmm.
to understand the concept of the man in general,
Hmm.
you know. So a mother can teach you how to be a mother, but a father teaches you so much about the man. And
Hmm.
when a man isn't present, it's like you don't have that guidance that you were supposed to have when you were brought into this world. That's how I feel. I could be wrong,
No, I
but
agree.
so tell me about your dad. Like, how's that dynamic?
Yeah, I love my dad. Um, but when I was young, probably about 3, maybe 4 years old, he was incarcerated and he ended up being deported back to Haiti. I am Haitian Guyanese,
Okay.
so he was deported back to Haiti after, doing his time. So I did not connect with him again until I was about 13 years old. And at
Mhm.
that point, I had already erased him from my mind.
Mhm.
I remember I had hope. Of course, at first I was very sad. Where's dad? Then there were years where I was like, I wonder if he thinks about me. I wonder where he is. And then there were years where I kind of coped by just erasing it and just saying, I don't need him, you know? And
So
then, go ahead.
so because I have to stop you. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
But I have another question. When this oh god, girl, you bring me back to so many memories, but
Hmm.
when you are raised in a home where your mother's just giving, 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 do you feel like that you were taught that you needed to give in order to receive love? Do you feel like that's what you got from, because you brought up the fact that your mom did all of these things.
I wish you could see my jaw on the floor. That's
Because now we're gonna get into why you were in a relationship for so long that you felt like you needed to give up so much of who you were and you lost yourself. Because sometimes I feel like that we don't feel like that we're worthy of love, and we feel like that we just have to give something, even if it's more of our time, even if it's more, more caring, being more overly thoughtful for people. And it really does put a strain on us when we feel so reliable and responsible for other people to that degree. And we talked about boundaries and stuff like that. But
hmm
and I know you already probably have done your mirror work, but
hmm
I just have to highlight these things because the listeners on the Bloom Effect, it's a story that we're telling, and along with a lesson and learning, and you sharing your story. So I just had to bring that up. Like, do you feel like that, the fact that your mom gave so much that it taught you that you needed to give, like how you said friendships, like you gave so much to your friends, and it kind of was like, maybe I'm not good enough to be loved
Yeah.
genuinely.
You you just sparked something in me. No, but you're right, and I have done this work, but sometimes hearing it like that, the way you just put it together, definitely, that's what it was. That's what it was. I can think back to even certain friendships where I remember this one girl was really upset because there was one girl, let's call her Anne, that I had become friends with, and I thought she was really cool. Anne had a best friend named Beverly, right?
Mhm.
And when I would come around Anne, I would be
Mhm.
like, "Do you want anything?" I would buy her stuff because, like, I was the type of person I had money. My mom gave me, I had money. I never didn't have. I would buy her stuff. I would buy her gifts. I would do this and that and that for her. And I remember one day Anne was like, "Beverly doesn't like you," and I was like, "Why not?" I'm like, "So nice, you know." And she's like, "Well, she feels like you're trying to buy my friendship because you're always buying me stuff."
Oh. And this burns me up because
Mm,
I've heard this before, just listening to general conversations with women.
mhm,
Um, you know, people, because I'm super genuine too. And when you are just genuinely who you are, no matter, you might have been raised to give, or whatever
Mhm.
case may be. Yes, you know, it is what it is. You were raised to just give. Okay. But some people still look at it as like it's a bad thing, or like it's not genuine, or like you have some type of motive.
Mhm.
And then, because I understand that you were raised how you were raised, but it still doesn't make it bad. You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make it bad
Mhm.
that you want to give to people, or that you want to make people feel as good as your mother made you feel by giving to you. Because you can be raised by a parent and be raised in confusion, and now you're exuding confusion. Or you can be
Mm.
raised by a mother that gave you so much that you just give to other people. So
Mm. You
it
just
goes.
described you just described me versus my baby daddy. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, right, right. So then when you get those two dynamics together,
Mhm.
because now we're gonna get into this actual pick me portion,
Mhm.
where you turn into a label. And that was never your purpose. Your purpose was to just genuinely love. And now you're fighting to just love. It
Mm.
becomes into, let me just keep loving you. Let me just keep loving you. Like, what is your problem? Like, I'm genuine. I have love to give. I want to give, 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 give. And then you become empty because you are partnering with somebody that was raised in confusion.
Mm.
So let's get into the pick me portion.
Mhm.
There's another layer to this, because sometimes we're not just sacrificing because we're nurturing people. Sometimes we want to be chosen. So, have you ever done too much because you wanted somebody to see your value?
I will say it just like this. The reason that I, without hesitation, gave my whole self to my children's father, we had 3 children together. All it took was, you remember I told you I had years of friendships that thought were friendships, that weren't really relationships, where people like to look at me, but they didn't like to claim me, or they like to, as Shira Seven says, roll around on the mattress with me, all of that stuff. And he said to me, "You're my wife," and
Mm.
nobody told me that you're not just supposed to take a man's word for it, and there's a lot more.
Why can't you just take a man's word for
Mm,
it? See,
mhm.
that's the problem here. That
And
why
that is the
can't
right.
you? Why can't?
I
Why
believe you. You said
it's
what you said, and I believe you.
yeah, like,
What's
why we
right?
gotta be playing all these games?
Yeah. No,
Why
you're
we
right.
gotta? That's not that, because that alters who you truly are when you get out in this world and you can't be genuine, and that's what breaks my heart.
Mm,
And a lot of women, we genuinely do just love, like, we believe you, we trust you, we trust what you're saying, and then we end up with a baby daddy
mm.
because we believed you.
I believed you. I trust. So he said, "You're my wife," and all my common sense went out the window.
Why do
And
you say that it was common
you
sense?
know what? I say that because there were red flags, and obviously, at this, okay, I'll tell you. So, I mean,
Be real, be real.
let me take my time with it. He, one of the biggest red flags I would say is just off the bat. After taking me out like once or twice, he felt comfortable asking me for money. He felt comfortable saying, "Hey, can I have like $50?" And I was like, didn't you just get paid?" Because, like, we were at that point, maybe we had seen each other for a few months. So, like, I know your pay schedule, you know mine a little bit. And I'm like, didn't you just get paid? Why do you need $50 from me? And I was trying to stand firm on those boundaries, but I had already decided that I trusted him. So I was like, sure, here's $50. Then that turned into I had a certain spending relationship with money where I was very I didn't get to save much because I lived in New York, but I would prioritize my bills and things like that, and make sure that I had my stuff paid as best as possible. Tried to get ahead of things. Where he had a different mentality. Now we go into being raised in confusion. He had a much different upbringing than me. He was one of 9 siblings,
Mhm.
a mother who had a lot going on and was never really financially stable, different dads for his siblings, things like that, in and out. You know what I'm saying? The complete opposite of what I had, right? And that his relationship with money was it comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. There's highs and lows. Like there wasn't a stable point of view about money. So he would spend, 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 and just act like it was gonna come back. And I would try to like plan with my money.
How many
So
kids do you guys have?
we had 3 kids together.
How long were you guys together?
We were together for 6 years.
Girl.
Yes, ma'am.
So from day one, okay.
I was pregnant the entire relationship. That's a whole
Girl, you
other
must got
thing.
some good, good, girl.
I can't
So,
lie, you know.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because that
It
man
is.
said, marry me.
Yes, and so, and you know what? I will say my ego. I'm
Did
gonna
he
tell
borrow the
you
money from you to buy the ring? Keep it real.
what ring, girl? What
Ah!
ring?
Oh my God, I'm sick of you
What
already.
ring?
So okay. So the red flags to me, it seems to be that he may have, I don't like to play the game here. I like to give everybody
Mhm,
compassion. So I can't label him because I'm not going to label you. I'm
mhm,
not going to say that you are a pick me because you were raised to just give, right?
mhm,
So I can't say you ignored the signs or that you were horrible. You just genuinely were what you are.
mhm.
You can't help it who you are unless you know different. And that's why you get put into situations like what you were in to make you more stern and firm on who you are. But my thing is like, how do you keep balance after that? But I want, before you answer that,
Mhm,
I don't push men hate at all. Like
mhm,
that's not what we're about on the Bloom Effect because I support men too. We all are raised in, like I said, confusion, love, whatever. And then once we get older, people start to label us like, you want to try to buy relationships, or you're a
mhm,
user, or so I get it. But sometimes we deal with how we were raised. It is what it is. But I don't really, I can't say that it was a red flag. See, to me, the red flags when you are a woman is looking at how a person is raised initially.
mhm,
That's the red flag. Like, okay, let me see how your family is. You got nine. How's your mother? Or does she struggle? Are you like, that's not something I'm gonna sign myself up for.
mhm,
So I'm not gonna say like, because it seems like the red flags is just like when you get a job and you get a resume. That's why you get a resume, so that
right.
you can see. Okay, I don't think
What's
I'm
your
that.
history? And
Yeah.
that was, and again, I was only 21 or 22 when I
How
met
old was
him.
he?
He was 30.
Girl. Oh
Mm,
my God.
he knew better.
So do you think he preyed upon you? Or do you think he
Um,
was just genuinely accepting your support?
I think that it was a mixture of things. As I am now 30 years old, I don't know that I would look in the direction of a 22-year-old. Um, But I always used to be like, oh, I'm so more mature for my age, that thing. And I did feel like men my age, they weren't they weren't gonna say you're my wife. They want to just
So
play
you was
around.
looking to be a wife at 21?
I was looking to be chosen. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was tired of, it was nice to have a guy immediately see the value in me as a woman, potential of a wife. Here's I'll tell you this. Every relationship,
What value at 21?
every relationship and partnership or whatever that I tried to get into or came close to, almost every single person has always said, I don't deserve you. You're too good for me. Right? They've all said that. And he was the first person that was just like, you're my wife, blah, blah, blah. And I will tell you what value at that age. I mean, I will say, you know, I, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but like, I would say that
No,
I
toot your
come
horn.
off as a wise person. I'm a well-spoken person. I've always been this way, interested in deeper conversations. I'm very, very talented. Like, we haven't even talked about, being a singer-songwriter and all of that. But like at that age, I had already been a soloist at Carnegie Hall at 21 years
So do
old.
you think you were prey for this older gentleman?
I think I don't know if he intentionally did this, but the part of him that was raised how he was wanted to bring me down. He didn't want to see a black woman happy. I'm gonna just be for real because his mom was a black woman. Like he would always say, my mom had 9 kids, my mom had 9 kids. And at a certain point, like after year 3, 4, I was like, I am not your mom. Are you trying to give me 9 kids because your mom had 9 kids? Like, so I think like he saw in me something that was not raised the way he was and not his worldview. And it snapped and he wanted to break me because even like we were both in the music industry. He was a rapper aspiring, I am a singer, and like I had all these accolades and I had my degree in music and I had all these things and I was like an opera singer and he's like telling all his friends in the hood like, yeah, she's an opera singer and she's this and she's this. Like I was like arm candy for sure, but then you can't handle the realities of being with someone who is college educated and has their own car and their own house and blah blah blah. And I did not understand the value of having those things at 21, 22, because I'm assuming everyone is raised how I was.
Mm.
That's where my naivete got me messed up. And that was always an issue. I was a little bit naive because of how I was raised. Like, and again, like you said, I have learned now to be proud of how I was raised, not feel like there's something wrong with that. I was raised right. But the problem is the world doesn't like that. They don't like a black girl that was raised right.
Mm.
So all of that, he didn't like it. Like when we got to the end of the relationship, all the true colors came out. You were raised like that. I was raised like that. I'm going back to how I was raised, and I think he went right back to how he was.
But how do you deal? I got so many questions. Have you ever thought, because it went on for 6 years, and when we have to teach the other women that are listening, have you ever thought, if I love him enough, support him enough, understand him enough, eventually he'll give me what I need?
That is what the whole thing was about. I swore that we were like a Jay-Z Beyonce thing. I'm the classy opera singer who gets to sing at the Harvard Club. He's the guy from the dirty streets of Brooklyn, and we're gonna come together and like freaking take over the world or something you know. So, and he did change. And like at the end of the relationship, I literally said to him, I left you better than I found you.
You said that?
Yes, I did. And I said, but you can't say the same. I'm worse off than when you met me.
Why do you think you're worse off if you learned a lesson? Because if
At
you learn a
that time,
lesson, that makes you better.
at that, you know what? I fully accept what you're saying, but at that time, I was definitely at what would be my rock bottom. I am still healing from that. It's been 2.5 years since I left him,
Are you
and
healing from heartbreak, or are you healing from, because 21, like at 21, if you are in a committed relationship with somebody that's overly experienced at that level of sacrificing, because he comes from what he comes from. So his
Mhm,
level of sacrificing looks like scary
mhm,
compared to what you come from. So it almost is like you are jumping into a battlefield and you weren't raised like that. So it just feels like so much confusion that it just confuses your mind, and then you become overly traumatized. Like I can feel what you mean.
yeah,
I can feel when you say that you're not over it, and it's only been two, and it's already been two, and I can feel how traumatic this has been for you or is for you. I can get it at being so young.
yeah.
That's
That's
fucking scary,
it was
bro.
terrifying. I will tell you that I found strength inside of me. I think that's the only reason God allowed for me to go through all of those experiences, because the level of strength I found within me is going to carry me through the rest of my life. I'm not going to lie to you.
What's the craziest thing that happened in the relationship?
I can tell you my my moment of rock bottom that I knew that I had to push through strength, right? So keep in mind, it was a 6 year relationship, and I was pretty much pregnant right off the bat, and I was pregnant the entire way through. Okay, like once the baby was out, I was usually pregnant not long after. And just to be frank, I did have an abortion in that relationship. So it's 3 kids out, but basically that's why I say I was pregnant every single year of the relationship. So that being said, I mean that's one of the craziest moments, honestly. But the moment that I was at the bottom, I'm going through postpartum. The volatility of how the relationship started. When I told you it started with me giving them like $50, and it ended in me losing where I was living and us moving into a shelter together. And I'm pregnant with my first child. He's isolating me from my friends and my family. And I'm pregnant with my first child. And I have this baby, and we're living in the shelter. And it's like this man that I said, I trust you. He's got me in the worst position that I've ever like even seen or heard of. And to him, it's like it could be worse. At least you're in the shelter. And I'm like, whoa, like this is not like how I was raised. So he's thinking it's par for the course. I'm like, you're dragging me through hell. And there were a lot of points where he was leaving me in the shelter alone to go run the street.
What
So
did your mom say?
my mom, I was isolated from her. And only now that we have now been able to reconcile our relationship, she told me that during those times she was having panic attacks and nightmares every day. So
Ugh.
that hurts to hear. She recently told me that. That's like, oh my God, as a daughter and now a
Breaking your
mother.
mama heart. Breaking your mama heart.
Broke that lady's heart. And that
Mm.
man, he was
And he was
so
breaking your heart.
he was he didn't care. Like he was vile about it. Like that's why I say that it was like after a certain point he was mad at me because of how I was raised versus how he was raised, because he felt joy in the fact that he got to make my mom upset like that.
You think so? Or was
I
he just
think
being or
so.
was he just being what he was?
I think two things can be true for sure.
Because
Definitely.
sometimes I think we give these people too much credit. Like if you knew better, you do better.
Mhm.
And sometimes people just don't know no fucking better. If you know confusion, everything that follows you is going to be confusion if you don't know anything else. So
Mhm.
sometimes we give people just a little bit too much credit.
You're right. I mean, I should have known. He goes by Chaos. That's the name he's known as in the streets.
Girl,
He
you
said, "What's up?
have
My name is Chaos." And my behind said, "Hi, Chaos."
Ah! But I know when we come from a good place, bad things are good. Like, I want a piece of
Mhm.
cake, even though I know I shouldn't have a piece of cake. I love a piece of
Mhm.
cake. I love me a good,
That's what
you
that
know.
was.
So it does feel good when you are dealing with a bad boy. So I get
Mhm.
it, but you cannot fall in love with a bad boy.
But I went beyond dealing with a bad boy. I really was in the trenches with him. Like I was holding
Girl,
it
what
down.
the fuck were you doing over there? What would you see? You know what? I blame you. I'm not even
Oh
gonna say I
no.
blame him. This is your fault. See, this is the part where we have to take accountability. I
Yeah.
understand that chaos was full of chaos,
Mhm.
but where do we take accountability? Because your mama told you don't be going over there,
Mm.
and even if she
Well,
didn't tell you verbatim,
yeah.
she showed you that stay over here. I put you in all these things. Why are
Right.
you dipping and dabbling over here? You ain't even
You
supposed
don't.
to
You
know
don't.
nothing
You don't.
about that.
Exactly. I had
So
no
what was
business
you
being over
doing
there.
over there?
Girl, I was lost. I was lost. I was looking for. Well, I will. Like
How did y'all
without
meet?
going
How did y'all meet?
in the music industry, you meet people. We met at the studio. Actually, I don't know what your religious beliefs are, but we met in a crystal shop. And at that
He
time, I
might have
started.
been he might have been praying for a good he might have been praying for things, and you were the vulnerable one that had to take the sacrifice for it all. So you were a sacrifice, it
Mhm.
seems like. But at what price, at what cost? Man, this is deep. This is deeper than what I thought it was. I don't even know. Like we're already 48 minutes in. Like we ain't even no
We have
because
not
it's
scratched the surface. I'm telling you.
yes, yes. Oh, so okay, so y'all met at a Christmas shop. I get it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, because we haven't even talked about motherhood. Like, girl, you got 3 kids, and
Mhm.
how old are they?
They are 6, 5, and 3.
So you became a mother 6, 5, and 3. God
Yes, the
damn.
6-year old. He's actually going to be 7 this month. He'll be 7 in a couple weeks. So 7, and then the 6-year old, or excuse me, my 5-year-old will be 6 in October. The 3-year old just turned 3 in July.
Does Chaos have any other kids?
He does.
Mm. Did he have
And
kids before y'all got together?
before we got together, I knew about his oldest daughter. Somewhere along the way when we were together, I discovered the second one. The second one was a complicated situation. I'm not gonna put all his business out there, but he knew about her, but the mom was kind of like not trying to have him be a part of her life. So he never really brought her up to me until it was a moment where it had to be brought up. So yeah. So he had two before me, and then we had three together. And I have not really spoken to him in the last 2.5 years, so I don't
Why
know if he has
not?
any more.
So you just ain't gonna let him talk to his kids?
He don't call. He don't call. He called the other day, um, and I said, and I let them talk to him, but they didn't really want to because he hadn't called in over a year.
But how do you stop them from having that same dynamic that you had with your father, which created this whole situation
Mhm.
that you're in? So I think that you still have a duty,
Mhm.
regardless of the fact of how they got here.
Mhm.
You still have to follow through with how they will be able to navigate through this world. Because
Yes.
I understand, like we can talk about ourselves, but we have to take accountability for our actions, and we made the bed, we have to lay in it. And your kids need their father. I mean, that's if he's willing to be a part of their lives, but you I know you say you still getting over it, but
I mean,
you
he
mhm.
doesn't call. He's done some dirty things over the past few years towards me. And I know we don't have a lot of time, but you know,
What
I
kind of
was
man is he today? Don't try to don't when you explain who he is today, don't hold on to the attachment of the hurt. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you. Today, I've just heard
This
bad
is your
things.
kid's father.
I've heard not good things. I've heard mentally he's not well. I've heard that he's struggling financially. I've heard
Hey, the struggling financially doesn't mean anything. But how is he mentally? What type of person is he? Is he respectable? Is he loving, genuinely,
no,
truly?
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
He's never really been like he always his chaos persona because David is a nice boy who deserved to be raised better. David is a nice boy who, if he was
Your
raised,
baby daddy.
yes, David is a good man, right? I will say that truly. He's a good man. Chaos is this persona that's very angry and mean and smokes too much weed and can burn a lot
So
of
he fell victim.
bridges.
He fell victim to his surroundings.
His own, he created that. I'll tell the story. Like, he told me that chaos meant child has an original soul. And he created that acronym because when so much chaos was going on around in his upbringing, he was looking for peace. He's a very talented poet. He's a great rapper. Like, I will still to this day say he's probably the greatest rapper I've ever heard because
Mm.
he's so intelligent with his words. But those same words, he knows how to hurt you, man. He knows how to use the words to dig into your soul and rip out your heart. And that's because he's an incredible lyricist.
So this is this conversation is kind of deep because certain questions, you were so young and you didn't really get the opportunity to really know who you truly are.
Hmm.
So it's hard to ask some of these questions that I have for you
You
because
can
I'm
still
sure
ask.
because
It's
I still
okay.
it's so much compassion for what you got yourself into.
Mhm.
And sometimes there are no answers. It's just, it is what it is.
Right.
But at the end of the day, my biggest take, like, because we can talk about what happened or how you got into this, and now you're a like, like I get it, but the message that we want to give is, how are you who you are today? Because to
Mhm.
me, that's what, like, I like, because you're still kind of like suffering because your babies are little. So if
Mhm.
you're a single parent, you're really regretting a lot of the decisions that you made with this man. It's affecting you still because
Yeah.
your kids are so fucking little.
Yeah.
So
It was
it's
very hard. I will tell you, like when I first left, and that's what made it really hard. Is like, I tried. That's what I'll tell you. He is a good man.
and
The
to get the
other,
courage to leave, and to get the courage. So did you just leave, or did like something really bad happen? Like, how did you get out?
it was, it was a mixture of he finally let me go. Like, I'll be for real with you. I couldn't leave. He said, "You're my wife," and he really stood on that. Even through all the shit that he was putting me through,
Mhm.
he was determined to be a better man because he knew I deserved better, but he couldn't get to where, and then like we kept having kids, and it was just like, bro, if you really love me, you need to let me go and these kids, because it's not going to end well, because you're not able to provide for this family. Your habits are destructive, too much chaos, and you know that these kids don't deserve that. And so it was a situation where it was just time. He helped me pass. Like, that's why it's hard it's still hard to call him, to talk bad about him all the way, even though he did some fucked up things to me. Even after I left, he really did some fucked up things. But when it came time to it, he understood, I need to let her go because I cannot keep dragging her through this and these kids through this. So he helped me pack up into my car, and I drove 15, 16 hours all the way to Florida from
With the
Baltimore
kids?
with the kids by myself.
Girl.
And I pulled up back home to my mama's house, and I said, "Sorry. I'm really sorry." Yeah. Yeah. And I will, oh, I'm gonna cry.
Girl.
I said, "I'm sorry, mom. Like, really,
Oh my
it was, yeah,
gosh. That is that
mhm,
girl.
yeah,
Like, girl.
yeah,
And you know what?
mhm,
Wow. That is an amazing story, and it just goes to show how amazing your mom is.
mm,
Truly.
mhm,
And I know that you made this decision, but at some point your mother probably was hurting so bad because she's seen what she probably went through with your father.
mm,
And
100%.
and it's girl, you're blessed. That's all I'm gonna say. You got your mother, and she is not judging you. She's not, holding you, like blaming you for doing what you did and hurting her to that degree.
And I didn't say all that. She was mad, rightfully so.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no,
she
but I'm
wasn't mad like
saying,
that, you know what I'm saying?
but I'm saying she still
Yeah.
let you in.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
still let you in,
And
and
I
you
will say,
still.
even throughout all the years, right? And that's why I say, like, when you asked earlier, like, yes, I did try to change him. Our whole family tried to change him. We tried to see the best in him. They tried to see the best in me and my decision to be with him. Like, they really tried to accept the situation. And we weren't in the shelter the whole time. You know what I'm saying? When we got out of that, we did elevate, we did do better, but they were just like, you can't think that you're gonna have a blessed marriage when you built something based off just living wrong, like not being, like not doing what we're supposed to do, and just doing everything backwards. Like we just it wasn't something that was going to be blessed, right? The children were blessed, and the children are blessed, but the situation was never going to be blessed. Like God's blessing, like he was not handing it down. Like that was what it came down to when I left, was God said to me, I'm not blessing this, you need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I love you, and I love you. Like I love David, and I love Akila, and I love both of you so much that I need you guys to not be together.
Mm.
And that's what it
So,
was.
so today, because you were 21, so you didn't really get the opportunity to me to truly experience what the 20s should be like. For me,
No.
like
Yeah.
I understand you in a relationship, but girl, you were struggling that whole
Yeah.
time, so you didn't really get to just like flow. So, but I do want to know what differently would you do in a relationship now? Like, what does choosing yourself look like now, or do you even know? Because sometimes you don't have to know. That's the thing too, is that sometimes like we just think that we have the answers for everything, and sometimes you could be saying you could say I'm just finding myself. I'm taking time to really get to know.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm literally, I'm working on my fitness and my health and my discipline for myself. Because I have to, not just about trying to get my body back or anything like that after 3 kids, but it's just about, like, it's showing myself love. Like before I even got on this call, I usually take an hour walk, but I actually met with my band for the first time today. I finally got my band together. For after 2.5 years of being here, I've been performing, I've been putting out music. My last album, if you listen to it, is called Fear God, Not Man.
What are we
And
listening to it at?
it is on all platforms under my name, Akila Etienne. Fear God, Not Man. That whole project, it's my way of putting into words everything that we just talked about. Like, I couldn't speak on this openly the way I am right now. I couldn't do that a year or two ago. I was
Mm.
afraid. I was afraid to open my mouth and say, I fucked up really
So
bad.
you were embarrassed.
I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I mean, think about it. At 21, I had just been a soloist at Carnegie Hall, and I was in the most prestigious choirs in New York, and I had just gotten a call back for Hamilton.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, yes, I'm about to make it. All my hard work, my whole life is about to pay off. And I met
Mm.
chaos, and my life went a different direction. And then I'm coming back home with 3 kids, and I'm still over here trying to be a singer. How fucking embarrassing, you know? But I still had to say, I don't care. I had to tell myself, this is my story. I'm not embarrassed. It's the truth. It's my truth. I have a new project that I'm working on. This song is gonna come out sometime probably in September. I don't have a date set, but it's called El Paso. And it's me talking about, like, my experience with leaving, that whole like transmutation of a bad situation where it seemed like I was dropped off at the side of the road, but I'm just picking up what I have and saying, I chose peace, and this is my path. It's me, like, walking on a dirt path, and it's like, it might look like to everybody else I'm going the wrong way, but I'm just going the way that's set out in front of
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love
me.
it. I love it. I love it. And that's what I want women to take from this conversation. Being a good woman isn't the problem. Loving hard isn't the problem. Being a mother, being supportive, sacrificing sometimes, none of those things make you weak. But you cannot keep calling something love when maintaining it requires you to continuously abandon yourself. And maybe the goal isn't to stop being the woman who loves deeply. Maybe it's learning that you are also supposed to be one of the people receiving that love. You don't have to stop showing up for everybody, but sometime, somewhere along the way, you've got to show back up for yourself. And maybe that's the real meaning of the bloom effect. Not becoming somebody completely different, just finally getting back to the woman who was there before everybody else's needs became louder than her own. And, you know, this conversation um, could go for 2 3 hours because it's such an important topic that I feel like that women of all ages, especially younger women that are preyed upon from older men, um, need to like this is so freaking important. It's like, girl, I can't even express to you how grateful I am for you having the courage to speak on your situation, starting over with 3 kids. Like, I understand all of that oh so deeply.
Mhm.
And if you had to leave the audience with one thing, what would that be?
I would
I would
say
say Especially young women,
yes.
yes.
Young,
21.
young, young
Young
women,
women,
21-year
21
old.
year old.
I'm
I'm
talking to
talking
you.
to
I
you.
want to
I want
tell
to tell
you
you
that
that
y- y- love
love
yourself. I
yourself.
know
I know
everyone
everyone
says it.
says it.
Love
Love
yourself
yourself
more than
more
you
than you
want
want
to be
to be
chosen.
chosen.
Choose
Choose
yourself
yourself
so that
so
the
that
love
the
you
love
have
you
for
have for
yourself
yourself
radiates on
radiates on
everything
everything
around
around
you.
you.
And
And
run a
run a
strict
strict
program.
program.
Okay?
Okay?
Don't
Don't
wait
wait
until
until
you've been
you've been
trampled
trampled
down in the
down
mud
in the
to
mud
get
to
up
get
and
up
then
and
to
then to
start saying,
start
hey,
saying,
don't
hey,
step
don't
on
step
me.
on me.
Don't even
Don't
let
even let
somebody
somebody
scuff your
scuff your
shoe
shoe
because
because
everything
everything
that
that
isn't
isn't
intentional
intentional
is
is
you're
you're
allowing things
allowing
to
things to
happen to you.
happen
If
to
you
you.
don't
If you don't
intentionally
intentionally
protect
protect
yourself,
yourself,
you are
you are
intentionally
intentionally
leaving
leaving
yourself
yourself
um
um
vulnerable.
vulnerable.
So be
So be
strong.
strong. So don't be vulnerable?
Um, no, have an
No, have an
open heart.
open heart. You
I
know, I
still,
still,
after all
after
of this,
all of this,
I
I
talk
talk
to
to my
my friends
friends
and they're like,
and
wow,
they're
you're
like, wow,
still
you're
the
still
same,
the same,
Akila.
Akila.
Like,
Like,
yeah, I
yeah,
have an
I have
open
an open
heart.
heart.
I
I
still have
still
the
have the
strength to be
strength to be
vulnerable,
vulnerable,
but I also
but I
have the
also have the
strength
strength
to
to
protect
protect
myself.
myself.
Because there's
Because there's
no
no
beauty in
beauty
being
in
so
being so
vulnerable that you
vulnerable
get
that you get
trampled.
trampled. Do you feel like that you are healed from that pain, or do you think that you ever will be?
I'm
I'm
healing
healing
every single
every
day.
single
I
day. I
can
can
genuinely
genuinely
say
say
that.
that.
My
My
next
next
my next
my
song is
next song
called
is
Hella
called Hella
Healing.
Healing,
Actually, I
actually. And
wrote
I
the
wrote
song
the song
and
and
I'm waiting to put it
waiting to
out
put it out
soon.
soon.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, do
I
you
think
think
I
that these
am.
scars will forever be there?
Mm,
Mm,
they
they
might.
might. Mm,
They might.
they might. Do you love differently now?
Yeah, much
Yeah, much
different.
different.
I
I
I'll just
I'll
say
just
this
say
one
this
thing,
one
like
thing, like
even how
you
you
love
said,
with caution. You love with caution now.
yes,
Yes. Oh,
yes.
sometimes that's not good. Maybe did he create a
Mm.
monster? Sometimes I think about that too. Like, what if you run into somebody that is highly intentional and highly, you know, you could meet a man that is it's risky out there.
It's
It's
scary out
scary
there.
out
I
there.
say
I say
prayed up,
prayed up,
that's all I
that's
can
all I
do.
can do.
I do
I do
think
think
I have this
Do you are you
strength.
looking for love?
I am
Are you
looking
look
for love.
okay.
You can hit me
Okay.
up if you.
Okay. Okay, Akila is still looking for love. She's still a great woman, because people like to say, you're damaged goods, but I don't hear that. I hear a lot of positivity. I hear a lot of great things. I hear a woman that is coming back with an album that's going one through 10 on the CD is gonna be popping
No
because of the
skip.
pain. Okay. So every time you go through something, you come back and your music is always fire, girl.
Oh yes. So
Maybe
I'm not
this is the
even
pain.
mad.
Maybe this is the pain you needed.
Yeah, that's what I asked for. I said, God, I want this, that, and that. And he was like, you sure? Okay.
Ooh, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because when you ask for something, you got to make sure you prepared for what you asking for.
I think I'm prepared. I would say to answer your question, yes, I'm ready for anybody intentional because at the end of the day, I won't say that I wasn't treated well. I would say he did the best that he could, and it wasn't really good enough. But but I do know how to be treated well. Remember how I was raised? I'm going back
I
to my
know.
roots,
I know.
treat me right and I'll treat you right. And I just know how to know what doesn't work for me. That's it. If you
Right.
have four baby mamas, it's okay. That just doesn't work for me. It's okay. And just like I had 3 kids, if that doesn't work for you, that's okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I love it. I absolutely love it. Please follow Akila. Can you please give them your ads just in case, you might have somebody out there, a secret admirer, girl.
Yeah, okay. Well, at Akila Sings on Instagram, Akila Sings. I'm everywhere else at Akila Etienne, my first name and
Okay.
last name, Akila Etienne. You can listen to my music. You can
Where
send me an
okay,
email.
what is your first name and last name on Apple Music and Spotify too?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Akila
Okay.
Etienne. Same way it's spelled here.
Okay. All right. Well, amazing conversation. Young girls out there, please, 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 please listen to her. Okay. We don't want to, but it's so hard though, because how do you love with caution? Because, girl, we could go
Just
on.
love yourself more. That's all I
I
can
gotta bring you
say.
back. I gotta bring you back.
Let's do this again.
Yeah,
Part
we need to
two.
do this again. We do. We need to talk about the warning signs of these ain't shit men, okay? That comes from chaotic backgrounds that names are like something funky like chaos. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Chaos
Okay.
and Dangerfoot. Like, don't.
Oh, girl, listen, pay attention, ladies. If his name is Chaos Dangerfoot, crazy knees, like stay
Crazy eyes. Like.
stay away.
Oh
But
my
I'm
God.
Nia, and this is the Bloom Effect. And remember, we are one, the cause and effect of the Bloom Effect. And until next time, bye. And thank you for Akila for being with us. Say
Bye.
bye.
Have a good night, everybody.